So these are examples of show chains that people can use for Shiloh Shepherds, any show dog really. The first one a lot of breeders use, this is a Hermsprenger choker. The nice thing about this is whenever it is on, it can get a lot tighter than the other show chains. So once you have it actually through there, which I'm struggling with one hand, it fits the dog a lot closer because it can fit just around the dog's neck rather than having to go over their head. So you don't, it's nice for dogs with big heads where you don't want to necessarily have a collar that can go all the way over. These you would keep sized to be the exact size of your dog. That's my Roomba. These are examples of snake chains. I like the snake chains the most. You can kind of see the pattern in the chain, which is what makes it a snake. It doesn't catch their hair, which is really nice, so it doesn't pinch at all. This one is a 3.8 by 22, so that's a 22-inch neck. That would be the size that I use for Cobalt. The 3.8 is a thicker gauge. This is an example of a 2.8, so it's actually much smaller. You can see how fine it is compared to, and then the Hermsprengers are even thicker. So a lot of that just depends on how much your dog pulls, how much you trust them. Honestly, I think most Shilohs are fine on a thinner chain. I like the thinner chain because I think it stays up higher and you don't notice it as much on your dog. This is a good example of another color. This is a gold chain. I thought that I liked the gold chain for Revel, but it actually drew a lot of attention to the chain because she is a dark dog. Generally, I like using the black just for the fact that it's not as noticeable, so you can get it where you want it to sit on your dog's neck, and no one is going to be seeing it. I didn't like how bulky these were. I also didn't have any issues with being able to slide the collars over my dog's neck, so that's why I decided to use chains personally over the Hermsprenger with the different clip. So those are just a few options and why typically I use this one for Revel and I use this one for Cobalt, just for the fact that Cobalt's a little bit bigger. These are examples of show leads. So these ones are all, this purple one is going to be 36 inches. When I bought it, it actually stretched because it is kangaroo leather. There are the ones that you can get in Irwin at Specialties. These ones I believe are 2 feet, possibly a little bit longer. This is going to be a 3-foot paracord leash with beads, and then we have, these are typically the ones that people in the club use, which is going to be a leather, and then this is my first show lead. The problem with my first show lead is it's heavy, so it's very thick. It's a very thick leather, and then it has this big braiding right here, which is also distracting for the judge with your dog. So whenever you see that hanging off of a dog, it is very noticeable and doesn't look great. The club leads are much finer, so they are not as thick of a leather. And also, it does still have a little bit of a knot, but it's not quite as obnoxious as the leather lead that I was previously using. The next leash that I got was this paracord one. Honestly, it does not feel sturdy enough for a Shiloh. I personally don't love beads just for the fact that it, again, draws attention away from your dog. I think if you place them correctly, they can look nice. And it can give your hand a good spot of where you like to hold once you have that, so it can be useful. I just typically don't have those. I like my leads to be a little bit more simple. These are good examples of braided leather leads that the club uses, so those are another nice option. They're nice and soft in your hand. That's going to be a cow leather. The leads that I use with my dogs are the kangaroo leather. So So the kangaroo leather, you can see how small that is compared to how bulky some of our other options are. So it's not going to draw a lot of attention away from your dog when it is behind their back. Kangaroo leather is very sturdy and also is, once you use it a few times, it's very soft on your hands. I like to use mostly black, so again, your leash shouldn't draw attention away from your dog. So I like to use the base color that is the same color as my dog, and then I'll add a little flurry of color. Revel is purple, so this is Revel's leash. But this is the kangaroo leather leash that I use. 36 inches is typically what we like to show adult Shilohs on because it gives them enough room to move out without us holding them back. But also you can gather it up in your hand really nicely without worrying about having a huge bulky leash in your hand. So just some different options of leashes. Nothing's right or wrong, just the differences between them. Whenever you are gathering your leash in your hand, you want to have your leash on your thumb. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go in and grab with your pinky. And then you're going to grab with your index finger, but remove these fingers. And then you repeat that back and forth. And what that's going to make it is so that your dog, you can give them leash as they're running if necessary. But you never want to wrap the leash around your hand because you can actually get your hand degloved that way with a big dog. So you want to make sure that we have, again, the leash hooked on your thumb. Grab with the pinky. You're not going to wrap it around. You're just going to grab with your pinky, thumb, pinky, back and forth until you have the correct amount of leash for your dog. That is going to make it so that you can drop the leash if you need to, but also still have a good handle on your dog no matter what, because your thumb is going to be doing that. I do recommend practicing this lots and lots of times before you go into the ring, because whenever they say, "Are you ready to run?" you have to say, "Yes, I am," and gather your leash fairly quickly before you're ready to move your dog. Now, all of the leashes that I have this clip. The clip is going to clip right onto your chain. Ideally, actually, if I could go back, I would get one without a clip, and what that would do is you could feed your leash through itself and then be able to hook your collar on that way without, again, just bulk. It draws the judge's attention a little bit away from your dog. But a clip is nice because you can switch dogs, you can switch collars, you can switch leashes really easily. Whenever you are ready to put this on your dog, you are going to feed it through itself and face your dog. Once it is fed into itself, you're going to make it so that we call it a P for puppy. So you're going to make a nice P. So the straightaway is the leg of the P, and then it goes into the body. So you would put that on like that. So it's going to, from the other side, not look like a P, but you're going to always have it, before you put it on your dog, a P like puppy, and that's going to make it so that you can put your leash on the correct way, which I'll go over in just a second. So when we have our P for puppy, we're going to, again, make sure that we have that nice little P shape, if you can see it. So we have it looking like a P. I'm going to put it on my dog. Once it's on my dog, what that does is it makes it so that I can actually kind of lock it. So whenever I lock it, you can see that it's kind of stuck under her chin right now, so that I can keep her head up while we're moving. So that would be why we like to have it that way. And then also, it doesn't continually slide around. So once you have it where you want it, it will actually stay in place a lot better on your dog if you do that correctly. This is my terrible camera work, but you can kind of see right there that when I pull, it's locking itself to where it is, and I'm not going to change or slide down my dog's neck. So this is a fun game you can play with your dog called This or That, and this is to find your bait. Rebel, leave it. Leave it. So with this, I have a few different options. So I have chicken, I have kibble, I have string cheese, and I have chicken hearts. generally what I like to use for bait is something that is going to be easy for the dog to swallow. So I don't usually like to use like beef liver, even though it is high value. It's really dry. So whenever my dog has to stop and chew it, which isn't ideal because then they could be chewing while the judge comes over or is trying to look at their teeth. I also don't like it because my dogs have a tendency to cough. So if I have them on a choker, which is going to be around their neck, so I have mine on a slip lead, which is putting pressure on their neck, and then they're chewing and crunching and trying to swallow a dry treat, the chances of them not being able to swallow it perfectly the first time isn't as good. I really like to use chicken or hot dogs as my bait, but not every dog loves chicken or hot dogs. I like it because it's easy for them to swallow. It's also moist, so it works really well. But when you're trying to find, Revel's actually a chicken girly, Cobalt is a hot dog boy, so when you're trying to find what your dog likes, this can, excuse me, be a really easy game. So I have my stuff here. I'm gonna start with maybe two kind of boring ones. So my two least boring, I should say. I have kibble and then I have chicken heart. So I'm just going to offer them both to her. So see how she left this one? She's definitely made a choice. She likes the chicken heart better than the kibble. Of course, she will still eat the kibble if given the opportunity. Now I can even try a meaty bite from the kibble versus her regular kibble. She actually chose the regular kibble, so that was interesting. Then maybe I go from a chicken heart to a piece of chicken. So I have my chicken heart, which is dried, to a piece of chicken. I'm going to switch it up. So I'm going to have my chicken heart over here, my regular piece of chicken over here, and we have a clear winner. So we have chicken. So then I could do my piece of cheese versus kibble. So cheese versus kibble. My clear winner is going to be cheese. Then I can do cheese versus chicken heart. That one I don't think we have as clear of a winner. Yeah, she wants to eat both of them. So those ones I would say were about equal for her. And then I could do chicken versus cheese. And again, clear winner, the chicken is better than the cheese. So for this dog in front of me right now, Miss Revel, she, like I said, is a chicken girly. So nothing really is quite as valuable as chicken. Even if you compare her with freeze-dried chicken to fresh chicken, she's going to go for the fresh chicken every single time. So that is why I would use chicken as bait. It's also nice because it's soft, so she doesn't have to chew it, and she can swallow it fairly easily. And the last game that we're going to play for this video is going to be our P for Puppy game. So with this, I'm going to have my treat in one hand. I have my slip lead so that it will be a P, and all I'm going to do is feed her through it. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. So she gets used to sticking her head. Good girl. Well done. Through the leash. So this is just going to build that it's okay to get the leash put on. Good girl. Well done. Leash comes off. Roomba comes through. We send it on its way. And then we have the leash come through. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Well done. And then I can start putting pressure also. So it's going to be leash through, a little bit of pressure, treat. All done. And taking that leash back off. So getting them used to the leash going on, the leash getting pressure. So leash on, her sticking her head through, me not reaching for her, pressure with the collar, pressure with the collar, pressure with the collar, good girl. And then that means that we're getting pressure with the collar, good girl, all done. Pressure with the collar, all done. So that pressure with the collar actually means that food is coming, so it's not a bad thing, it's not a correction, because we're going to use that to our advantage to help them stack later.